Okay, Chris. We have to start right off with that major blindside. You really had no idea that you were going to be voted out, did you?
No, I didn't. It was a real true blindside. And as soon as I saw my name, I knew I was history. I knew they would not make a move against me unless they had the numbers.
So you're saying the first time you saw the name Chris, you knew it was you.
Yes, right when I saw Chris, I said there's no chance these people would have made a move against me unless they were just
Hmm.
locked up.
And this episode happened to air the day before Thanksgiving. So I imagine you're with your family and your friends. What was everyone's reaction? And did this ruin the holiday for you?
I don't. It was funny. We went to Disney World this year, so that kind of helped a little bit because we were in this
Hmm.
magic world. But the family, the in-laws, the people that were with us on the trip were furious. That's because they didn't know. They didn't know it was coming. They were furious, angry. I mean, just a mess. The outpouring on Facebook and social media, anger, mad. All my family, hometown, Oklahoma, they were like, calling for Zeke's head. So,
Hmm.
but I wouldn't say it ruined it. We, got up the next morning, went to, I don't know, Animal Kingdom or Magic Kingdom or somewhere and had some fun and, got my boy's mind off of it.
I was looking at your voting history, and you voted for Cece, and she went home. You voted for Michelle, and she went home. You voted for Taylor, and he went home. So you were really on the top making all these calls. What do you think shifted in the game to make it so that you're sitting here today?
Well, I think that's part of the reason. I think I kind of stuck my neck out there as leading the charge a little too early, and my game plan was to kind of hide back. But I became too confident because I thought Zeke was in my corner, and we felt like Dave would stay with us because we had the numbers to vote Jess out without Dave. So we just figured I figured he was going to go with us because we had the numbers and there's nothing he could do about it. But the moment that changed the game for me, looking at it now, is when Dave showed Zeke as idol. I think that did me in. I think at that point that kind of gave the edge to Dave.
There are so many idols in play. There are so many, secret advantages. Did you ever go out there and try to find, any of these things for yourself?
Oh, sure. I mean, everybody's looking all the time, but there was early on. It's hard for a guy like Ken and I were out fishing all the time. We were out trying to gather firewood for the group. So it really, that's really something that a lot of people are just sitting around camp doing nothing, and they're all out looking for idols. While a few of us, Brett, Ken, and I, are, catching the fish, picking up the firewood, doing the main jobs. So it's really a disadvantage to take that role on because you go out fishing for 2 hours. Well, everybody else is looking for an idol.
Maybe next season they should hide an idol inside of a fish or something like that. So that the people that are fishing.
If I ever get to play again, this guy's not going fishing.
Yeah,
I'm going out in the woods looking for idols.
So this feud between you and Jessica, did you guys ever consider just putting it behind you, working together, and maybe having all the Gen Xers get together and vote out these millennials one by one?
I think the Gen X deal just blew up after the Paul thing started it, but then the next vote came and we all had talked about the fact that Jess had pushed for this Paul vote and it was just the wrong move and it had splintered our group. So we all came together. There was a super majority going to vote Jess off, and then Dave plays the idol, and it just seemed to fracture us even more at that point. Dave playing that idol, if he had just voted with us, I think that the Gen Xers would have come together at that point. But when he played that idol, it just even solidified more. We were all like, look, Gen X is history. It's time to abandon ship.
Wow. So now as a jury member, what was your reaction at the very next tribal when there was this deadlocked tie between Hannah and Zeke that led to Jessica drawing the rock? What was going on in your mind when that was happening?
Well, in my mind, I was first super jealous that I wasn't sitting over there taking part in it. But then I was like, wow, at least I'm watching this. It's really cool, like front row view. But in my mind, I was like, when I would go back, if I was walking up there to revote, man, I think I would have wrote somebody else's name down. I'd have just flipped right there and probably just lied and said I didn't do it. But at the end of the day, I think it's really Dave and Brett forced the hands of the rock drawing, and Dave kept pushing it, and Brett said, "Let's draw rocks, let's do it." And at the end of the day, I think a lot of the other people, they put their hand in there, but they weren't wanting to. But I'd rather go out doing it that way than getting blindsided by my friend.
Okay, that's good to know. So
Yeah.
if I ever go on the show, I would rather be blindsided than oh no, I would rather draw a rock. You're saying than get blindsided.
I absolutely would. I mean, because you're sitting there going, "Hey, man, I'm going to draw rocks. Let's do this," and you're taking your life in your own hands as opposed to Zeke, stabbing me with a giant knife in the back.
Looking back, what's the one game move you made that you're just so proud of?
I would say that I'm proud. It's a two-edged sword here because your question begs the question of what is my worst move? Well, I should have voted Dave out at the swap, but at the swap we kind of formed this little tight Vanua tribe by voting CC out, and we went on this wonderful run at Vanua where we won some rewards and we won immunities, and we were going into the merge, this little foursome. And I was real proud of that little Vanua group because I had a hand in winning a lot of those challenges for us. And going into the merge, I thought this is going to be a little powerful group. And it just didn't ever form that way. I mean, I thought we had it, but it just didn't work.
And this season started out with the huge cyclone where everyone had to be kind of evacuated for the day. After that, did the weather kind of calm down? We didn't really see much about, any weather issues.
Yeah, no, I think we got pretty lucky after that, after the cyclone. There were a few days it seemed that, if I remember right, that we had some, off and on showers, but nothing like the, first few days. Nothing like that. So yeah, overall we got pretty lucky.
What was that like when they evacuated? That was a Survivor first that happened.
No, I thought it was it was crazy. I mean, it was a touch and go. I mean, it was the real deal, like a pretty scary moment when you guys saw us. We're loading onto boats heading out to high seas, and it was pretty crazy. But I thought it was kind of cool too at the time. I was like, hey, look, this is kind of a Survivor first. So again, as a fan, I was like, it's kind of cool, even though we might tip over in this boat.
Right. So you kind of hinted that you would like to play again, and if you ever got back on the island again, what are you going to do on day one this time that you didn't do last time?
I would not go and build a shelter. That's for sure. I might pitch in and act like I'm helping, but good Lord, I'm going to go out and searching for idols, and because people have a short memory on Survivor, it seems. The next day no one really cares what you did the day before. The hard work only gets you so far, and it puts you at a disadvantage to be sitting around gathering firewood and building a shelter. So I would do it secretively, like, hey, let me go gather some bamboo. But at the same time, I mean, that's just a disadvantage, taking all those days to do that while people are out looking for idols.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was great watching you on the show. We wish you would have lasted longer, but unfortunately that dang blindside got you.
That got me. Yep.
All right, we'll talk to you at the reunion show.
Sounds good.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks a lot.